Do you believe in magic? The Sound of Magic is the latest K-drama to drop on Netflix with high expectations. But will it compel you to believe?
It's already making waves with its star-studded cast. Ji Chang-wook from Backstreet Rookie returns as mysterious magician Ryul, and relative newcomer Choi Sang-eun plays Yoon-ai. The cast is rounded out by actors from True Beauty, Itaewon Class, It's Okay Not to Be Okay, Business Proposal, and a lot more.
Based on the webtoon Anara Sumanara, the story revolves around a desperate high school student, Yoon-ai, who's abandoned by her father and has to take care of herself and her younger sister. Low on money and can't make rent, she's picked on at school, but determined to make ends meet. She meets a mysterious magician who seems to be interested in changing her life. But who is this mysterious magician? Is he for real, or is he some kind of madman who just happens to be handsome with a few tricks up his sleeve?
Right off the bat, the first episode introduces you to a dark and twisted legend about a magician that resides in an abandoned amusement park. It then switches gears to a mesmerizing musical with our high school students front and center. What's up, Sunday fams? Welcome back to another video. This day on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. We are talking about The Sound of Magic. This is, I believe, one of, if not the first, musical type of drama that we've seen.
I thought it was fantastic. It was totally unexpected. I was just like, hey, this new drama is coming out. Let's go check it out. And lo and behold, there's a musical number that introduces you to the entire story. The whole entire drama is pretty much like a musical.
Yeah.
Not your traditional musical drama, of course, but like that was a surprising element that was so unexpected, but I love it. I loved every piece
It was
of it.
very unique and very charming. The first 5 minutes drew you in with this grand spectacle of a musical number where they're dancing in some kind of like multiversal plane where they are like, it's a sideways school with windows and they're just kind of dancing and doing this whole kind of performance. And they go from scene to scene creating this wondrous atmosphere, and you're kind of like, this is really, really fun.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And so that kind of sets the tone in what this drama is all about. Little did we know that it wasn't just all going to be fun and games. There's a murder that's happening in the backdrop as part of its story, as well as a very heartfelt story, an endearing story with Yoon-ai. She's very poor. She's very like tattered in clothes. She has to take care of her sister. Her mother is gone. Her father abandoned them, and now she is in need of money.
This introduces us to Nail-dung, who is a smartass in school. Well, I wouldn't say smartass, but he is doing so well in every subject except for math, and they kind of clash here where they kind of make a deal with each other, where he recognizes she needs money and he recognizes that he needs to beat her in math. They make a deal where she purposefully has to score low so that he can impress his parents. And that's kind of like the whole story behind Il-dung, is that he, on the other hand, where she like suffers from being poor and having no money, he comes from a gold spoon family. He has to live up to such high standards and the pressure is just getting to him.
Yeah, and that's really kind of the overarching theme of the entire story, right? They say on the show that there's a smooth asphalt that's being paved for him, right?
Yes.
And it's almost like there's all of these expectations that adults expect of children or high school students and what they need to be or who they need to be successful in life. But it's the overarching theme of that burdens both our characters.
Absolutely. The adults controlling everything about their lives. The adults setting their own dreams onto their children. Il-dung shows just a little bit of interest in magic, and both of his parents are just like, no, this isn't going to do anything for your life. And he's like, so what? I just like it. I enjoy it. It may not be the final thing in his life, but the message of the show being that you kind of have to believe in yourself and kind of come up with your own dreams. This is the thing that happens when Ai meets the magician Ryul. It's all about believing in yourself. It's all about never giving up. It's all about, as he says, sometimes you have to do what you want to do as much as you do the things that you don't want to do.
Right, and it's like the struggle in life is something that you have to kind of overcome, right? But like you can't give up because she's at the bottom, right? And like so she's almost like given up on everything about her future, and so she decides to make this deal because she needs the money. Like she absolutely needs it. There's people coming to her house looking for her father. They're in major debt, and so she really has no choice at this point. But what really What I really loved about this is that her performance. Who is the actress in this?
Choi Sung-eun.
She is fantastic. I think she's only been in a couple of movies.
Only
right?
a couple. One of the more notable ones was the startup movie, not the drama that we saw.
Right.
And I think 2 other films and maybe 2 dramas.
She's
certainly not the filmography that we're used to with the leads.
Right. I mean, all of the actors in this, they
been
do
on everything.
Everyone is in this freaking drama. Like at Backstreet Rookie, It's Okay to Not Be Okay. Like even like
Mr. Gay from A Business Proposal.
Business Proposal, Squid Game. Like everyone is in this.
Yeah.
Okay, except she is very much like a newcomer, and her acting and her performance in this drama was just absolutely magical. Like no pun intended there, but like her little nuances and her facial gestures and just how she like evolves into someone that's so down and out and like blossoms like a flower at the end, which was chef's kiss.
This was a breakout performance for Choi Sung-eun for sure, and it made me a huge fan of her. I do want to follow her into whatever project she has upcoming. And so when IE meets Ryul, we have this kind of dazzling display of magic. And this seems to be a theme that permeates throughout the show, where she comes to him at points in her life where she is going through just the worst of the hardships. Her father comes back finally, but steals from her. And so every time she comes back to Ryul, he shows her some magic tricks, but along the way, there are certain moments where you kind of believe that the magic could be real, where he shows her time magic. He shows her around the amusement park, which leads to a horse ride through the skies.
Yes.
And you're kind of asking yourself, is this all real? Is this all in their head? Because when it stops, like they both see it, but when it stops, they return to where they were. And you're just like, did he actually summon some real magic?
Now it's kind of like tricky, right? It's like, is there like something supernatural that's happening here? Is this real magic? But when it's all said and done, I think it's very much the real magic happens within you. The real magic is inside your heart, where that child had a dream once and was fearless and was willing to go through whatever to reach for those dreams. And that's kind of like really kind of the moral of the story here, right? Is don't let go of that childhood wonder, that childlike wonder that you had, and don't become like some boring adult.
Exactly. I like to go back to an old Star Wars quote here where Qui-Gon Jinn says to Anakin, your focus determines your reality. And so when you're focused on all of the things that are going wrong, your reality is going to go wrong. And so Ryul here is just saying, hey, let's take a step back and reframe everything right now and just believe in yourself. Don't give up. Once you start thinking positively, then things will get better for you.
Absolutely. I really loved everything about this drama, but there's more to come.
I will say this, the series is nearly perfect, and if there was one gripe that I have with this show, it's the use of mental illness as a pitfall. Ryul is already a very misunderstood person. Rumors already abound about his danger to those around him. I feel like the writers took the easy way out on this one. Already misunderstood and being framed for the various incidences in town, adding a potential mental illness into the picture felt cheap and lessened the luster and mystique of his character, when contextually, all of this magic or majesty could be the result of someone's overactive imagination. I, for one, certainly want to believe that the fantasy of his magic was real.
On the final episode, all the clues and evidence behind the murder of Seo-hyun are all pointing to Ryul. Before the police takes him in, he asks IE the only important question that matters. Do you believe me? This unanswered question sets our characters off into their final journey into finally believing in themselves. After finally getting to know the backstory of our magician from his high school friend, we find out about the trauma that he once experienced in high school. After Ryul escapes from the police, IE and Il-dung go on a desperate search for the magician.
Back at the theme park, we get to see one last performance by Min-hyuk after finally getting the answer he needed to hear. With IE finally believing in magic, it's as if he was set free himself and performs one final vanishing act. After a series of events, it turns out that it was a convenience store owner that committed the murder of So Hyun, who was also a victim of his sexual harassment. Magically, the cameras were working that ill-fated night, the same night I first experienced the sound of magic.
Do you believe in magic?
I do,
Oh my
I
goodness. You know,
Hey, I believe in the Force.
as you said, whether it was an overactive imagination, it was felt by both characters. It was felt by IE, it was felt by Il-dong, and whoever had that experience with Ryul, right? And so something happened. Apart from just being a magician, the magic that he performed actually made these two characters start to believe in who they can be.
Yeah, absolutely. I go back to one of the first few episodes of this series where he says, "Don't you think that me making you smile right now is magic enough?"
Oh man, this drama made me smile and teary like at the end. And I was telling Elman, it was like, why am I so teary? Because it really kind of pulled on those heartstrings that remind you of your childhood, and that's what makes this so magical.
Another great quote from Il-dong was when he was talking to his homeroom teacher, where he had submitted his dropout request in regards to the whole paved asphalt that his parents had laid out for him, and he had an easy way to the top. Il-dong says, "Flowers don't bloom on smooth asphalt, they bloom in bumpy dirt." And that is synonymous with, you know, going through the trials and tribulations of life. You don't always have an easy way about it. You don't have a smooth path forward. And that was one of the other things that Ryul pointed out to Il-dong as well. Don't you think the path you're on is a dark one or a cold one?
It's a cold one. That's what he said. I just love the evolution of our characters in this story, especially for Il-dong. He was under so much pressure of being like the next prosecutor or the next lawyer or judge that he was just missing the bigger picture, and he finally found himself and opened up to himself and released himself from the shackles of expectations from your parents.
So with all that said, including the small gripe that I had with how they chose to kind of insert that whole mental treatment that he went through, I'm going to have to give this nearly perfect series an A.
Well, you know, I was going back and forth with that one. It is kind of like a trope, or it's kind of like an easy way out when they're using mental illness, but that was also like, we probably would have guessed that like way in advance before they actually revealed it, right?
Yeah.
It was always going to be that, or actually it was only going to be that at that point. But regardless of that, like, I still think that I'm gonna give this show an A+.
Well, let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Did you enjoy the sound of magic? Do you believe in magic? 당신 마시를 믿습니까? I remembered. Let us know in the comment section below what you thought. But that'll do it for our ending explained video on The Sound of Magic. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe for more Asian entertainment and K-pop reactions. But as always, this is what we're watching this Sunday. We'll see you guys next time.